Building a competitive baseball team is much easier said than done. You need to have great scouting, draft the right players, and develop them so they reach their full potential. You need to be smart with the contracts you offer and who you're offering them to. You need to be careful not to overpay them. And you also want to make sure their best years as a player are as a member of your team. You need to make good trades. Are you fleecing teams or are you the one getting fleeced? Then, once you've constructed a roster with enough talent, the players need to be healthy and reliable day in and day out. There needs to be a culture and chemistry between players. It's very hard for a franchise to check all of these boxes, but when they do, they're rewarded with a dynasty. The dream for every front office, coaching staff, player, and fan. A team that wins a lot of championships in a short period of time. It's a very rare achievement for a franchise to accomplish. It's even more rare for an organization to build this type of roster as effortlessly as the Atlanta Braves have. The Braves have become the ideal standard of how a Major League Baseball team should be run. In 2023, their lineup from top to bottom is in the conversation as one of the greatest ever. They've built an entire core of young talent that are under contract for the next 4 to 8 years, which includes two of the best players in all of baseball, one of the best pitchers in the league, one of the best third basemen, second baseman, one of the best catchers, and you get the point. Their 2023 total payroll is around $205 million, which is 10th in the league. This may sound like a lot, but Atlanta actually has the most underpaid team in baseball due to some incredibly team-friendly deals they signed their stars to. After having the best record in MLB and being World Series favorites pretty much the entire season, we're going to break down exactly how they constructed this powerhouse roster and why they are baseball's next dynasty. Before I get into it, welcome to the War Room. Please consider subscribing to the channel if you're new, and let's get straight to it. First, we're going to break down how they got each player in this lineup. Then we'll talk a little about the contracts, how much they get paid, and for how long, starting with the international signings. Ronald Acuna Jr. started getting scouted by the Braves when he was just 15 years old in his home country of Venezuela. Atlanta officially signed him when he turned 17 for $100,000. After dominating the minor leagues for the next few years, Acuna quickly rose to number 2 on MLB's 2018 Top 100 Prospects list. Since his 2018 rookie season, where he won NL Rookie of the Year, it was clear that he possessed MVP potential. In 2023, it looks like that may come to fruition, as Acuna is one of the best players in the entire game, as he leads all of baseball in runs, stolen bases, and on-base percentage. He's only 3 home runs away from joining the 30-30 club, but if he manages to hit 13 more home runs this season, he'll become just the 5th player ever to reach the 40-40 club. Acuna's partner in crime starting in 2018 was fellow rookie Ozzie Albies. Despite Albies not receiving any Rookie of the Year votes that season, he did make the All-Star team in 2018, giving the Braves the best rookie duo in the league. A different Braves scout signed him to a $350,000 contract on the island of Curacao in 2013, when he was just 16. Similar to Acuna, he ran through the minor leagues no problem, and made his MLB debut at 20 years old in 2017, where he started the year as the 11th best prospect. Today, he is arguably the best second baseman in baseball, as he made his 3rd career All-Star game in 2023, and has more home runs and RBIs than anyone at his position this season. When it comes to building a winning organization, getting 2 future All-Stars signed to your franchise before they even turn 18 is a pretty good place to start. Next is the draftees. All this talk about the Braves' young hitters makes you forget they have a bona fide ace in Spencer Strider. The Braves picked him in the 4th round of the 2020 draft out of Clemson. However, Strider's minor league career was unlike your typical player. Even really good hyped up prospects will usually spend at least a few years in the minors as they develop over time, and that's if they're lucky. Strider, on the other hand, started in single A, was promoted to high A ball, then to double A, then to triple A, then to the majors in the year 2021 alone. The fact that Strider was throwing 101 miles per hour in minor league games might have had something to do with his quick call-up. In his first official rookie season, 2022, he was already a top pitcher in baseball, striking out over 200 batters with an ERA under 3 and finishing 2nd in NL Rookie of the Year voting. In his 2023 sophomore year, his ERA has taken a significant hit, though he already has 217 strikeouts in mid-August and 13 wins, both of which lead MLB, putting him in the mix for NL Cy Young. Not bad for a dude drafted 126th overall. And remember when I said Strider finished 2nd in NL Rookie of the Year voting last year? Well, the guy who finished 1st is also on the Braves. In the third round of the 2019 draft, Michael Harris Jr. was taken 98th overall by Atlanta. He made his debut last season at 21 years old, and we already know how that went. Again, giving the Braves another top rookie duo in the league. This year, he's very quietly playing his role on this absolutely loaded roster. The 22-year-old has yet to make an All-Star game in his first 2 seasons, but based on how the Braves have developed everyone else so far, I don't think that will be a problem for him. It certainly wasn't a problem for Austin Riley, who's the final draftee we'll cover. Riley was taken in the first round of the 2015 draft and didn't make his debut until 2019. In his first 2 seasons, he showed tremendous power, but he wasn't great for contact and struck out a lot. That was until he had his breakout year in 2021 and proved it wasn't a fluke in 2022. As he finished top 7 in NL MVP voting both years. This year, he'll probably get some MVP votes once again, as he's on pace for 40 home runs and 104 RBIs. He made his second All-Star game this season and is one of the best third basemen in the game, having more hits than any of his hot corner counterparts. So it's safe to say the Braves know a thing or two about drafting, but their trades might be even better, because Matt Olson is putting together a monster season at the plate that has him in the NL MVP conversation as well. As of this recording, he leads MLB in home runs, RBIs, slugging, and OPS. In fact, he's on pace for 59 home runs and 147 RBIs this year, and still might not even be the best player on his own team. The Braves acquired Olson from the A's in 2022 for 4 prospects: Shea Langoliers, Christian Pache, Ryan Cusick, and Joey Estes. Langoliers is only batting .202 with 11 home runs this year with an OPS plus of 79. Christian Pache isn't even on the A's anymore. Cusick is still in the minors with a 4.19 ERA this season, while Estes is having a decent year in AA, making this one of the most one-sided trades you'll ever see. Earlier in that offseason, Atlanta made another trade with Oakland, with the Brewers being the third team in the deal. Essentially, Atlanta got catcher Sean Murphy and traded the A's another 4 guys. 36-year-old Manny Pena, who played 4 games this season and is on the brink of retirement, Kyle Muller, who has a 7.79 ERA, Freddie Tarnok, who has pitched under 15 innings with a 4.91 ERA, and Roybert Salinas, who has struggled in the minor leagues. While of course, Sean Murphy made his first career All-Star game this year and is certainly one of the best catchers in baseball right now. Mark that down as another fleece for the Braves. But the Oakland A's aren't the only team to be a victim. In April 2021, the Brewers traded Orlando Arcia for Patrick Weigel, a pitcher who played his last MLB game for Milwaukee in 2021 and is no longer in the league, and Chad Sabatka, a pitcher who since traded to Milwaukee never played an MLB game and is now retired from baseball altogether, meaning the Braves pretty much got Arcia for nothing. And guess what? He was an All-Star in 2023, as he's putting together the best season of his career so far. And just in case I haven't convinced you the Braves know what they're doing yet, in July of 2021, the Braves got outfielder Eddie Rosario and cash considerations from the Indians in exchange for a former World Series MVP. But not just any World Series MVP. Cleveland landed 34-year-old Pablo Sandoval, who ended up never playing a game for the team and retired shortly after. Rosario might not be the main attraction of this lineup, but since the Braves literally got him for free, it's an amazing trade. Just to recap, this is what the Braves landed and who they gave up. I don't know how they pulled it off, but they did, robbing literally everyone they crossed paths with. The only signing and player left to cover in this lineup is Marcell Ozuna. He's been with Atlanta since 2020, and this season he's having another very underrated year. And that officially covers the main portion of the offense, plus the team's ace. So the Braves checked the boxes on scouting, drafting, development, trades, and signings. Now, as promised, let's talk about contracts. Based on all the information I just explained to you for the last 10 minutes, you would think the Braves have at least a $300 million payroll. I mean, 2 MVP caliber players in their prime and all those other all-stars, it seems impossible not to spend a ton of money. However, when it comes to team-friendly deals, they check that box too. The Braves have created a new approach in building rosters. Instead of having a young talented player on their rookie contract for 6 years and then signing them to a massive deal in free agency, the Braves pay their young guys right away and lock them up to longer-term deals. This ensures the player will be a Brave for the majority of their prime. Also, the team can save hundreds of millions of dollars down the road. Instead of their MVP and all-star caliber players set up to get paid big in free agency, they are still locked up on a cheap deal they signed 5 years prior. It's a risk for the franchise because the player might not pan out to be an all-star, but so far, it's been working. For example, In 2019, just 1 year after Acuna's great rookie season, the Braves signed him to an 8-year, $100 million deal. So as we sit here in 2023, the best player in the National League is making just $12.5 million, when in reality, a player of his caliber would normally be making around $30 million. They've done this with pretty much everyone in their young core. These are all the notable contracts they have these players signed to. You can argue that every single one of these guys are underpaid based on how they're playing this season. In 2023 alone, Olsen, Riley, Acuna, Albies, Harris, Strider, and Murphy are making a total of just $93.3 million. Just to put it in an even crazier perspective, Matt Olson is making the same amount of money as Josh Donaldson this season, arguably the best and worst hitters in the league making the same exact amount of money. That is mind-blowing. Another thing that's special about the Braves that isn't talked about enough is their durability. Ronald Acuna Jr., Matt Olson, and Austin Riley have played in every single game this season. Before Ozzie Albies recently got hurt, he played in all but one game this season. The Braves don't believe in load management. They're going to send their best players out on the field every single night, and opposing teams have nowhere to hide. At 77-42, the Braves have the best record in baseball, and it's really hard to imagine anyone beating them this October. After winning the World Series in 2021 with a slightly different team, another ring this year, and people will start to throw around the word Dynasty. And honestly, I think them winning only one more World Series with this core would be somewhat disappointing, because they have a chance to absolutely dominate MLB for the rest of this decade. How far do you think the Braves will go this year? Let me know in the comments below. Please drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new. It really means a lot. Thank you for watching, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.